Hello everyone, my name is Philip and welcome back to Phasing Forward, and today we're doing another series review, and it is finally going to be time to do a series review on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. In case you're wondering, once again, why these series reviews are coming out so late after the series has already finished, it's mainly due to the fact that we want to let these series sit before we actually jump into them and give them proper full-on reviews. Plus, it just saves us on time because, you know, we can't just book in a lot, like, constant phasing forward sessions because both me and Zen have a lot of stuff to do, including working on the Bun Squad. Danganronpa 1 review out soon. We're halfway done with the recording, so that's great. And also, just to follow on what I said at the end of the Loki finale podcast, so I essentially said that either the next Phasing Forward video was either going to be the Black Widow review or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier review. We've decided to go with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier review, and we're actually going to put off Black Widow for a while. Most likely in October when the film gets a proper release on Disney Plus and not just Premiere Access. The main reason being that Zen actually hasn't seen Black Widow, and it's a prequel, so I feel like we can skip it at the very least until Hawkeye comes out, because we're going to need to review that movie before Hawkeye comes out. Shang-Chi, we should be able to review in September amidst What If, you know, assuming the fucking lockdown in Melbourne, you know, lifts until then. It honestly should. It's like a month from now. But, yeah. So that's the reason why we're not reviewing Black Widow automatically. So look forward to that sometime in October. Most likely after What If has come out. Or has all finished up. So with that being said, I'm going to carry things over to the person in this recording who hasn't actually joined me for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Take it away, Miss Zenith Warrior Princess. How are you doing today?
I'm sorry, who are you? What is a Falcon? I don't understand. What is a Winter Soldier? Is that someone like, is that Bucky? Is that Bucky?
Well, you could say what is a Falcon now because he's not technically Falcon anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for finally having me on. You betray me so many times with kitties. With my kitties, you have Chiaki and you have Kana. Everyone betray me, but it's okay. I forgive the kitties, not you.
No. Yeah, if you to those of you listening, if you didn't join us for the Falcon and Winter Soldier podcasts, which you should have, you monsters, you'll essentially know that or you should basically know that Zen didn't join me for Falcon and Winter Soldier because that was during the time where her laptop had been taken in for repairs. So essentially, from when the series started all the way to when it finished, I couldn't have her on because her laptop was still in repairs. We have an entire video on that on Zen's channel, so go check that out because it's too long of a story to get into here. But it was enough of a delay that she missed the entirety of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, and Michelle, we were going to have Michelle on here because Michelle was the one who joined me for the majority of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I had such a good time with Michelle that me and her have now created a separate series, the Backslog. But, you know, I asked Michelle if she wanted to be a part of this since she had joined me for the entire series, so it makes sense for her to be in the series review as well. But she said that she really has nothing else to add on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so, you know, so for this one, it's just going to be me and Zen, and Zen's basically going to be taking up most of this podcast because she hasn't had a chance to actually talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier yet. So it's mainly just going to be her gushing about it and me gushing about it. So so you guys should hopefully already know what my opinions are on the series overall. I'll say them in a second again, but Zen, what did you think of Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I really love Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and there are problems. You can definitely see, much like WandaVision, that the final episode was a little bit rushed, and I feel like that's partly due to filming. I think that, you know, some of the last stuff that they didn't get to film, you can definitely see that there's stuff with US agent that wasn't fully filmed. It did feel like they wanted him in a certain place, and I'm like, but they needed another scene with US agent because he kind of goes from being a murder, death, kill to fighting them, getting ready to fight back and doing his own thing, to working together with Bucky. And I feel like it needed another scene to be like, him and Bucky needed to reconcile. I did not expect Bucky to be working with him after everything that happened.
Yeah, it feels like with US Agent, like that, you know, his story was one of the best parts of the series, but it also felt like there were certain, you know, scenes that were just missing to, like, you know, fully flesh out his character. Because by the end, I know a lot of people were like, I still haven't forgiven this jackass. Like, you know, I still hate this guy's guts. So, you know, and I feel like if they wanted to make him more sympathetic, then, like, that's fine. But you feel like we were still missing some key scenes to, like, bring him back around from a guy who's going more and more to the dark side to someone who's just managed to avoid, you know, going to that place. So
yeah. It's like, I get what they're going for, and US Agent is still not a good guy. Mm-hmm. He's trying to do stuff his own selfish way. And it could be that part of what brought him back is his deal with that woman, and whatever is going to come of that. Maybe it's, you know, that kind of softened him up a little bit to where he's like, okay, I don't have to be Captain America because I'm US Agent. That is a possibility, but we still need a little bit more with that. So, aside from that, like, rushed nature with US Agent, I think overall this was great. This is a powerful series. It hit me in a very big way. And I said during the Loki series that the Loki hit me in a big way because it's very big LGBTQIA plus themes. With this, it's a little bit different because I'm white. I'm not black, so I can't fully relate to it.
Same here.
My best friends are of different race, but I am a mixed race. I'm Italian and Irish, and not like pure Irish. I'm Scotch Irish, but I'm friends with. I'm good friends with Vega. I'm good friends with a lot of people who are in that community, and the thing is, it hit home to me in a certain aspect. I think because I'm trans, because this show is all about social justice. There are different themes for each different shows. With WandaVision, it was grief. With Loki, it was existentialism and purpose versus choice, which tied into LGBT themes. With here, it's social justice, and it's more about minorities. And while I may not be black, I am a minority in that I am trans. And I'm a disabled trans woman at that. Mm-hmm. So, like, that, a lot of these things hit home for me. Having to struggle just to get stuff done. The scene with Sam at the bank trying to get the loan, I'm like, I've been there. Like, you can do everything right, and they'll still look at you like you're different because, you know, oh, well, you're a disabled trans woman. I don't know if I want to give you this job. Nah. Like, there are things in this society where that different lens applies, and I know people don't want to acknowledge it, but it really is true, especially because a big parallel between black people and trans people is that we both get harassed by cops. And so the scene where they get harassed by cops, like, I felt that. And so, like, a lot of this really hit home to me. And yeah, I'm not black, but I can feel it in terms of a minority group. And there are several points in this that I cried because it's finally giving rise to the voices of the people that actually, like, need to make this change. Sam's speech at the end, it's like, I'm a black man living in America. What don't I understand? Like, it's just like, yeah, because there's always going to be these people in charge who think they understand what's going on and you don't. It's like, no, we know exactly what your game is. You have the power to change all this. You have the power to give disability to all these people and not have to have us jump through hoops. You have the power to stop the mental suffering of so many people, and you don't. And you say, we don't know what we're talking about, but we do. And that was so righteous, and it felt so good. And then when Isaiah got the statue, that was almost as if, like, you know, a trans person had gotten a statue, and I started crying. Like, it's not one-to-one, and I get that. And it's very hard to say the discrimination against black people is the same against trans, because it's different. But I felt it, and it was like, for the first time in ages, a TV show was speaking directly to me and saying, we understand, we get it, we get you here. And yeah, it's a TV show. It's produced by people who are rich. Disney is a huge corporation. They make stuff. I get it. But we don't get shows like this that often where I feel seen, you know?
Yeah, I feel like the fact that Marvel, like one of the world's biggest, media producers now, the fact that they're finally branching out and like doing more shows like this and more movies like this, it really helps like to put a spotlight on these issues. And I feel like this series in particular did a just magnificent job about it, like, because I didn't think that they were honestly going to go as hard on it like as they did in this series, and like literally have that scene with the cops in episode 2, which is honestly one of the best scenes in the series due to how raw and like real it felt. And this is honestly like probably like the realest that the MCU has felt, in at least in like the main phases. And like, yeah, I say that, but it's still like dude with wings, super soldier serums, it's still Marvel, but like it feels the most grounded compared to like everything else that we've gotten before. And I love that because because if you're gonna tackle a theme like so if you're gonna tackle themes like social justice and like race in America and such like that, then you'd want that to feel as close to home as possible, or I'd say you'd want that to feel as close to home as possible. But then again, I know for some people that might be triggering, so probably a poor choice of words there. But like what I mean is, I feel like it being so close to home like helps the story in portraying like in achieving its goal better than like say if they were to add this in like some like, I'm fumbling my words. Let me use an example here. Star vs. the Forces of Evil tried to have a race allegory in seasons 3 and 4. But the problem is that by that point, they had moved away from Earth and had gone to Star's world of Muni. So they were essentially doing it with like the alien like races, or sorry, not alien races, but like the other creatures that were present in Muni. So, and while that's fine, it just hits closer to home when you can do it in a setting that that audiences are more familiar with. And Star vs. the Forces of Evil was already set in a suburban in a suburban setting where Marco's family were I think oh fuck, I'm a fake fan right now. I think his fan was Spanish, yeah. And because of that, it's and I know it's a kid's show, so they probably didn't want to get too real like Falcon and Winter Soldier did. But also, you can get if they wanted to tell themes like that, then you can do it. You already had the capability to do it. You just kind of lessened the impact of it. And I feel like Falcon and Winter Soldier handles it really well, but because of how grounded it ends up being. I stumbled a lot in that ramble. I hope I made sense with all of that.
No, I get you. It's very raw. It's a very real show, and it's nice that we're finally getting down to earth with characters. And that's something that I've really appreciated about these series is that big event movies are great, but we don't get a lot of individual character time. We don't get a lot of time with these characters. Wanda and Vision got the most out of that series more than any of the films. Here, I finally really got a chance to feel for Bucky, and I already like Sam, but now I like Sam more. But each person has different struggles, and it's not just Bucky struggling to deal with his past, he's 100-and-something-year-old man in the body of, I don't even know how old he's supposed to be, like, body-wise, but, like, he looks very young, and he only gets along with older people, but the older people are the ones he's hurt, and it's very different. Like, he can't get attached to people. That's why he's always so cold, because he either is gonna hurt them or he won't relate to them. And the story with Nakajima, with the old man and the son that he murdered, is probably one of the most powerful things. And how, like, you know, he had this friend, he gets along really well, and he doesn't want to tell him because, like, he's probably the only person that he relates to, but he has to because he wants to make it right. And even when he gets set up on that fake date, he's not right because she brings up stuff that are very painful to him. He can't open up. He can't do anything aside from lash out to Sam, and I think that what works about the relationship with him and Sam is that they finally come to an understanding about each other's struggles, and they help each other overcome their struggles more than the therapist could ever do. And honestly, I've been to therapy. I don't think that therapist was very good. Sam is a therapist. Sam is a licensed therapist. Like, I think that's much...
she has a lot of good points to say. Like in the first episode, when she said, like, and when you are alone, that is the quietest, most personal hell. And, like, that got me. Like, that still gets me, because I'm like, oof, fuck, way to hit on my biggest fear, MCU, goddammit. So she has a lot of good points to say. The one big thing she's missing is patience and that amount of empathy for Bucky, and, like, to really help him out, like, on a personal scale, and, like, is really, like, confrontational with him about it. And that, I don't think helps, like you said. And
not only that, I talked to a couple people, and I'm like, you know, you're right. By this point, he should be comfortable talking to her, because he's been with this therapist for a while. She never gives him a comfortable environment that you know, an environment that would suit him. And like, a good therapist, like, they would be like, all right, let's get down to your level. Let's have an environment that you're comfortable in. And for him to have been in this therapy for however long and still not be able to talk to her in any sense, there's something wrong going on here.
Yeah, and I love the cinematography of the scene too, because, you know, of how, like, the camera is, like, so close up on both of them to show that it is very confrontational and very it's very confrontational and not, like, calming or relaxing in the slightest. The series has, like, just amazing cinematography. We are jumping around here a lot, but the cinematography of the series is great, and good cinematography, I don't think, is 100% necessary in order to have, like, an amazing series or movie. Like, let me give you an example. Captain America Civil War is one of my favorite MCU properties. I love Captain America Civil War. It's like 10 out of 10 story. I adore it. Top 3 MCU movies. But I'll be honest here, the cinematography in that movie is not even all that good. It's not that it's bad. It's just very by the numbers. It does its job. It's very bland, you know? It's not, and that doesn't hamper my experience of the movie, because I still love the movie, but it is like very bland from a cinematography point of view. So I am happy that at the very least, while it doesn't like impact the story at all, it does add to it in this sense. Like in this scene, for example, where the camera is so close up to all of them, and to all of them, to Bucky and his therapist. And there's a shot later in the episode where Bucky is like entering the diner place, and like you see like a police car like in the background. I doubt that police car was looking at Bucky, but like just like that kind of like Bucky moving across and then the police car moves across shows that like he's still always in this state of like being like not trusting and just being aware of his surroundings and thinking that he could always like hurt someone. It's cinematography that really adds to a series, and I'm so happy that Falcon and Winter Soldier has some really fucking gorgeous and beautiful and really meaningful cinematography in that sense.
I have to agree. I think the way that they went about these shows has allowed them to be more creative, because it's not a massive cast. You don't have to worry about getting everybody in the shot, so they can be more creative. In Loki, it was always about like feeling alien in certain environments where they tilted the camera to show that, you know, okay, things are off kilter, and it showed in the set design, and showed in the way they were filming. Here, it's very steady camera work, but there's subtle things in the background, like when he's on his date, you see flashing lights, and it's just like, wait, is that someone after Bucky? Is it someone watching him? But he's looking out, like, you know, there's little things that really point to these characters and how things relate, and how different the environments are, because you go from like you have this big black neighborhood where everyone's like coming together and everyone's having fun by the wharf, but then you actually see that's the community aspect, but then you go to see the neighborhood aspect, and it's no one wants to be out because everyone's afraid of the cops. Like you see a couple people out there playing ball maybe, but like it's very stark and different, and you can see the dichotomy of it, because the black community is all about friends and family and coming together and working together, but you don't really like want to be seen like yelling in public and stuff like that, because then the cops come. It's like very good cinematography in terms of showing this different aspect. And it's the same thing with Bucky. It's like you see him talking to young people, and he's not really relating, but he's talking to the older guy, and like they're together, and he's only really at home in this noisy bar because it probably helps drown out the noise. But when he's alone in the silence on the date, like it's very different sound wise. It's like he feels nervous. He doesn't like, he's looking at every exit. He doesn't want, it's like he uses the noise to drown things out.
Yeah, it's like, it honestly is just terrific, like the way they handled, like, you said it before, but like, before this, I didn't really care that much about Bucky. Civil War was like a step in the right direction to making me like, okay, I don't mind Bucky, like Bucky's fine. But this series really made me go, okay, I like Bucky now. Like, because that was one of the MCU's like biggest missteps, and it's one of the reasons why I rank Captain America the First Avenger a little lower than some other movies, because like the first two acts of that movie are really fucking good. They're honestly really, really good, and the last act just kind of goes downhill. Like it's probably one of the biggest like third act drops that I've seen in a Marvel movie, because they should have kept Bucky alive till the end of that movie, because I feel like he dies way too soon. Because like you see him at the start, then he gets kidnapped, so we don't see him for a long period of time. Then he comes back, and then we don't really get enough of him until he dies. So you don't really get to see any development to him or like his relationship to Steve all that much. And then there's like some other problems with that third act we're not going to get into here, but yeah, it's just, and then by the time he comes back in Winter Soldier, because he is the Winter Soldier there, and like you can't really delve into him all that much, I felt like there wasn't enough room to like really explore him until Civil War. And now past that point, and especially with this series, we've gotten to the point where I do really like Bucky. I just really wish that we could have gotten that development, like more development for him before all this crazy shit happened to him. So yeah, I'm happy that they've delved into him more. I'm happy that they delved into Sam more, you know, because Sam, if he was going to become Captain America, definitely needed a series like this to really delve into him and make him into a big star, you know, that Anthony Mackie already basically is. So, you know, and now I totally buy him as Captain America, and I cannot wait to see Captain America 4, which should probably come out in like 2023, 2024, sometime around there. So it's, you know, I can't wait to see him as Captain America in more of these, in more of the MCU, because hot damn, this was such a good series. Like his relationship with Carly, and like how, you know, compared to Walker, he takes like a very, you know, front on, like, let me just talk to her. Let me just talk and like work it out. And it doesn't work out, unfortunately. Like no thanks to Walker, but like he tries like all other avenues before he goes straight to the violence. And it's not that Sam like wouldn't resort to killing, because like we saw him mowing down a bunch of aliens in Infinity War, but you know, it's not that he like wouldn't resort to killing. It's the fact that he's Captain America in the sense of he's gonna try and be empathetic and like reach out to the opponent, but like if their cause is really all that good, before trying to take them down. And let's remember, Steve wasn't opposed to killing people either. Like, remember in fucking the first Avenger where he just like shoves that one Nazi into like the fucking like jet engine, and it was amazing. But you know,
like the thing is, Captain America, Steve and Sam, they're both soldiers. They both are military, but what separates them is that they're good people. They empathize. And the talk with Carly, when he sits down and talks with her, he understands her point because he's in the same boat. But he's just like, well, yeah, but you're forcing people, you're killing people. And she's the one who escalates it with the conversation. It's like, no, I didn't mean it like that. But that's the difference, is that when we're put down, we start to get angry and to rise up, and it's so easy. It is so easy for us to cross that line and start killing people and become the monsters on the other side. It is so easy. And the reason why Sam and Cap and are different is because it's not that they won't cross that line, is that they will only cross that line if they have a very goddamn good reason and they agree with the means. And the means is very important. And it's just like, here's the thing. In all fights, you know, there are times where you have to do horrible things. And the end does not justify the means. And all this is going about saying is like, hey, these guys are Nazis. I'm okay with killing them because these guys are opposing everything we stand for. I am intolerant of intolerance only. That's what Steve's stance was. With Sam, it was like, I agree that these people are putting us down and not giving enough resources, and they have the power to do all this, and they refuse for technicalities because there's greedy motherfuckers. But I'm not going to be the same as them. If you're going about killing innocent people, that's not the right way to do it, because these people aren't the ones who did the wrong thing. You know? Yeah, it's like, you know, it harkens back to the one line from the first Avenger, and I'm really bringing in all the first Avenger references with this one, where the doc, I forget his name, but the doctor basically says to Steve, like, so you want to kill Nazis? And Steve says, I don't want to kill anyone, but I don't like bullies. I just don't like bullies.
I just don't like bullies. And
that's the thing.
Yeah, it's so great, because like fucking, it shows that, like, if need be, I will kill, but like, I don't want to like just go out and like just kill anyone for the sake of killing them. It's, you know, if I see like that someone's being intolerant of people and trying to like put us down, then yes, you know, I'm gonna go out and like and defend people because like that's what, you know, I have to do. But when it's on a group like, say, the Flag Smashers, who have like a, you know, their cause is absolutely like, you know, is absolutely relatable to like so many people in the world, and it's, you know, and we see in the series that a lot of people support the Flag Smashers because it means results for them, like the school that they end up going to, like, or like the foster home place that like they end up going to, and they don't mind what the Flag Smashers are doing because it means that like they can actually have they actually have someone who helps them. So the Flag Smashers cause of like wanting, wanting more people to like have the same rights as each other, you know, is perfectly reasonable, is perfectly valid, you know, and it's, you know, it's the kind of thing that Sam especially would relate to, as we see in the series. Unfortunately, Carly specifically goes about it in entirely the wrong way, whereas Sam is like, where Sam sees her, and the good thing about this is that it's not just, oh, you know, well, you know, you have all these good points, but also you're evil because you kill innocent people, so I have to take you down. No, what I love is that the final episode comes around, and after Carly dies, we get the entire speech of him running down why Carly was doing the things that she did, and why, you know, the senator and all the people and all the, you know, the politicians like with him shouldn't be fucking like, you know, I'm fumbling my words again. I was on track, but like why they shouldn't be freaking discriminating against people like who survived the blip, you know, and why they shouldn't just be like discriminatory like at all because of bullshit reasons. And like it's and that's a real bad way of explaining it. I'm fumbling again, but you know, it's the fact that they had Sam like break down why Carly did the thing she did and why it's on the senator. And the thing is, Walker is guilty of a lot of fucking things, but the senator and the government really did fucking make him. Like that was one thing that I honestly think Walker was completely right about, because they rushed in a new Captain America. And don't get me wrong, it's on Walker. Like what the wrong things he did are on Walker. But it's, you know, it's also on the government for rushing in a new Captain America without seeing the true credentials of what makes a Captain America. And Walker just wasn't that. Something like what happened with Walker was going to be inevitable, and the government should be taken to fault because of that. They have this image of their mind of like what's right, and we see by the end of the series with Sam like, you know, berating them that no, like they don't know what's right, and they keep making these bullshit decisions that leads to Walker, that leads to the Flag Smashers. And yeah, I really love that they had that scene with Sam at the end. That's one of my new favorite scenes in all of the MCU.
It is really good, and there are several points that I want to address here. Mm-hmm. First of all, I had people say that, oh my god, they're trying to make Carly out to be a martyr when she wasn't. I'm like, no. Nah. Because the entire point of that scene was that she was killed from her own actions. However, now that she's dead, let's try, you know, they're trying to say, oh, well, thank you for killing the terrorists. It's like, well, no, stop calling every person a terrorist who you don't agree with, who has a different skin color than you. And you know, I'm up here, a black man with the stars and stripes. You don't think I see these stares? You don't think that I know people hate me every time that I put this on and I'm still here? Why do you think that is? And that hit home for me as a trans person, because every time I record a video and I talk about a trans topic, in the back of my mind I'm thinking, someone's gonna say something. Some idiot out there is gonna say a slur. Some idiot is just gonna say I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm trans. That's not how it works. I know fully well what I'm doing here and what my platform represents. But I also sympathize with this person who had a cause and went about it the wrong way. Like, that was Carly's entire point. She went about it the wrong way. Unfortunately, she had to die. But why don't we try to do this in a way where we don't have another person like her, who's worse, who's more misguided? And God, that speech hit home to me in so many ways, because I'm just like, yeah, Senator, you only care when your skin is on the line. What about, like, the people out there with mental health issues who you could help, with disability, the trans people who there's thousands who are persecuted in the country and nobody does anything. You have the power to do that, Senator. Why don't you do it? It's like you get up here and you were scared today. You were scared for your lives. Well, that was a taste of how we feel every single goddamn day we struggle in the world. That speech hit home so much. It's one of the most brilliant speeches in history, and I don't know if it's going to change anything. But the fact that the world saw it was enough.
Yeah,
because the world sees it, you know?
Yeah, and it creates it's not going to be enough to, like, change people's perception. Like, you know, it'll all that matters really is that it changes the perception of the people who have the power to change, and convince them that, like, you know, what they're doing is wrong and that you need to give, you know, more people rights. Because, like, unfortunately, there's always going to be people, because, like, the world's full of, like, 8 billion people. There's always going to be people who are going to see, you know, a black Captain America and be like, no, yeah, fuck off. No, you don't deserve to, like, be in that position. But as long as the people who, you know, as long as the people who, like, are in charge of, you know, giving, like, being able to, like, give these rights to minorities, hear those words and see, you know, what'll happen if, you know, if you don't take action, or worse, take fucking horrible actions like they were gonna do with what's the name of the fucking organization that they were running for people who were blipped?
The Global Repatriation Council?
Yeah. That company. Like, and, like, you know, seeing, like, what they were gonna do that and, like, put them in immigration camps is, like, fucking ridiculous. And, you know, and if you don't take action and do the right thing, people are going to fucking riot. You can't blame people for rioting when you yourselves aren't taking any action. It's like, oh, well, do it in a peaceful way. You can only do things in a peaceful way for so fucking long. You can only do it in a peaceful way for so long before, you know, you see, oh, they want us to do nothing. They want you to just shut up and, like, you know, and they want you to be the better person and do nothing and do it in a peaceful manner. It's only going to be so long before people say, fuck it, let's try and get their attention. And that is exactly what we see with Carly and the Flag Smashers in this series. And it's, you know, and it's because of their inaction. And furthermore, not just their inaction, but all the horrible shit that the government is capable of doing, that the Flag Smasher said, enough is enough, let's try and change the world. And it was Carly who took that to a far bigger extreme, to where the other Flag Smashers were just like, no, I don't know about this. And unfortunately, they did still do it. So, like, they did still take action. So they were still complicit in what Carly was doing. But the fact that you have people going this far shows that you need to change this shit, because otherwise it's gonna mean bad. Like, it's only gonna be, like, lead to more, like, you know, to more fighting. It's only going to lead to more, like, shits, like, you know, rising up. It's, you know,
the key thing is that when people are oppressed for a long enough time, riots happen.
Yeah.
You saw it with Stonewall. You saw with the current stuff that happened last year in Minnesota. People can only be peaceful for so long, because how long is enough waiting? I have waited my entire life to be accepted, not just by my family, but by other people. And you want us to wait even longer? Shit bubbles to the surface. And yeah, it's not the best solution, but it's something. It's something, like, it gets their attention. And yeah, Carly was wrong. She was wrong to kill innocents. Killing innocents is wrong. But I can understand why she did what she did. The other thing that I want to bring up, and it's something that people kept bringing up after the series, and I'm still, I don't believe, I can't believe that I have to bring this up, and I have to say this, but people were taking issue with they will never accept a black Captain America, and they're like, well, what are you talking about? There's War Machine in there, and he was Iron Patriot. God. One, Iron Patriot was a publicity stunt, and they immediately went back on it. War Machine is a sidekick in his own series, and I don't know if you noticed, but he was the only one crippled in Civil War. But even then, it's a publicity stunt. He's a soldier, whereas this is Captain freaking America. He's representing America. Like, this is the symbol of the country. And you realize the moment that a black person took on the mantle, people are like, who gave you permission and authority to do this? Who gave the original Captain America permission? Nobody. He fucking took up the mantle and did it his damn self. But no one was questioning Steve Rogers.
Yeah, a lot of people are trying to, like, take roundabout ways to, like, just be racist with this series. Like, I remember someone, I remember fucking good old Ben Shapiro fucking jumped on the bandwagon and was like, it's how can Sam, be able to, like, do the stuff he does with Captain America's shield? Like, it doesn't make sense. And, like, someone responded to that video, like, via a TikTok or, like, just like a response of some kind, like, on Twitter. Like, it's, he responded to that. Okay, let's run down the list. We saw Nat, like, toss the shield to Steve in Age of Ultron. We've seen, X toss it, and, he just listed off a bunch of names who were able to do the same stuff that Sam did, without the super soldier, like, these are people without the super soldier serum, but it's weird that Mr. Shapiro takes an issue when it's a black guy who's doing it, and it's like, yeah, it's like people
and
are just
we
taking...
see an entire month of training montage where he learns how to use it.
If global warming's an issue and, like, houses started being underwater, wouldn't the people just sell their houses and move? Yeah, just one small problem. Sell their houses
Aquaman?
to who? Sell their houses to who? Ben fucking Aquaman. I love H. Bomber Guy so much.
And that's the thing. Whataboutism is the stupidest thing when it comes to this sort of thing. It's like, yeah, what about this other black hero? No, like, people were still racist when it came to Black Panther because the whole reason they didn't want to make Black Panther is they thought a black superhero wouldn't sell. Like,
well, okay, let's be more specific. Fucking Perlmutter didn't think it would sell.
Perlmutter. But even still, there was an entire audience of people like, oh man, like, it's just, Black Panther isn't going to do very well. It was the highest grossing film that year. It's like, people either belittle or underestimate other than all the time.
Other than Infinity War, but that's Infinity War, so, like, it gets a pass.
But that's just the thing. And it's not just a thing for the black superheroes. We had the same thing for, like, female-led superhero movies. So there's discrimination everywhere, but it's like, oh, well, you guys had a black president, why wouldn't they accept a black Captain America? Because you saw what happened with Barack? Like, yeah. People still hate him for some reason? Like, people are racist. It happens. It is still a thing in this country. I hate to break it to you, racism ain't over because we got a black president.
Yeah, like, you know all those memes that say, like, oh, Barack Obama's the president, racism is over, we stopped racism. The whole point of that meme is that, no, racism isn't just stopped because, like, say, we got a black president. It's like, well, boys, we did it. Racism is no more. We killed Donald Trump. You know, and the Boondocks had an amazing episode about this, where it's like, you know,
yeah,
Barack
they were all like, oh my god, like, everything's over, yeah, party, and nothing changed.
And nothing changed, like, fucking Barack Obama's, inauguration came around, and, like, racism still fucking happens. And, like, that was the whole point behind that episode. Like, just because, the United States will have a black president, or, like, they'll have stuff like this, it doesn't stop the fact that racism still fucking happens.
And we should deal with it and address it, and that's what I like about this series. It's not going to end just because of this series, but it addressed racism in a real light about how and why it happens. And, like, the best moment to me, where people are, like, looking up to him, is like, oh my god, that's a Falcon. No, man, that's Captain America. That means something.
Yeah, it's honestly just so powerful right there. It's really, really good. And, like, yeah, I loved Sam's arc in this series. I loved the Flag Smashers, even though I know a lot of people don't like the Flag Smashers. And there are like legit like criticisms that I've seen like tossed their way. I don't think the Martyr criticism like really holds up. I'm like that one's pretty stupid. But I have seen some like legit criticisms on him, but I personally really like the way they executed Carly. Oh no, not in that way. Not in that way. I really like the way that they handled Carly's character.
Phrasing.
I really like the way they handled her character. I really love the way they handled Bucky. Just the main cast in this series was just fantastic, and I think they handled them so well.
I love so much the character piece that this is. Like, it doesn't have the best fights for me, but I didn't watch this for the fights. I watched it for the characters.
Yeah. I'm someone.
I think they did a good job with. I watched this for the characters, and I think they did a really good job with them. And there's two more that I want to briefly discuss, but like I think for the most part, like the Sam and Bucky stuff and Carly and the Flag Smashers like kicked it out of the park.
Yeah, it's like and just to touch on the action scenes for a second, like, you know, I'm in the same boat where it's like I wasn't really a big fan of the action in this movie, and it's because a lot of the action follows
this
suit
movie. I didn't realize this was a movie.
I mean, they did say it was basically a 6-hour movie, so like, fuck, who knows? Maybe it is a movie, but it's
Welcome to the Snyder cut of friggin' Captain America.
The fucking Snyder cut of Captain America and the Winter Soldier. But the action in this series is like not my cup of tea. It follows the same suit as Captain America: The Winter Soldier, in that it's very like, oh, we're gonna have like the two characters do a bunch of karate, and it's gonna be like really weightless until the end of the battle. I mentioned this in the series itself, but I love it when something is at something is at stake in a battle, or there's like some kind of hook other than just two men doing a bunch of karate. And that's kind of why I didn't like Captain America: The Winter Soldier's fights all that much. It was they were well choreographed, but I just didn't care about much of it because it was just two people, doing a bunch of fighting with like that essentially carrying no weight. It's
well choreographed, but like the thing is, I don't really care much for Baron Zelepere. And his whole thing is kicking. And I'm like, I like seeing him kicking. I thought it was fun.
I think the best parts
were like, when he jumped in and he shielded with his shield and he showed Captain America stuff. I'm less about fist fights and more about like aerial stuff and like superhero stuff.
I like to split it up into two halves. The fight scenes and the action set pieces. Like the fight scenes are specifically characters fighting each other. Action set pieces are like, say, the opening of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like the whole like Grand Canyon part where like they're flying, where Sam's flying around. You know, so I like to split up into like those two bits. And action set piece wise, I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier basically does pretty good. Fight scene wise, the only things that I genuinely like really like in the series is the stuff with Walker, because with Walker you can see his character through his fighting. Like when you first see him fight, he's very much like when he's hanging off of like the truck, and like he has to like kind of, whereas like with Cap he would have just been able to like propel himself up, like just kind of like force himself and jump up, whereas with Walker he has to like get up like a normal person would, and like him tossing the shield kind of feels unnatural, and like the fact that he uses a gun, and yeah, Steve used the gun as well, but he hasn't used the gun since like the fucking 40s. So it's like, and seeing how inexperienced he is, and then him fighting the Dora Milaje and just how weak he is there. And then
oh my god, the Dora Milaje scene was so good, and it was because like they didn't even have super soldier serum.
Yeah, and then
he felt it.
And then he takes her, and you can tell that drastic change in the way he fights. And I think that results in some of the best fight scenes in the series, because there's an actual like character growth to the way that Walker himself is fighting. And I really like it, and I really like that about the series. But other than that, the action isn't really the best. But then again, Captain America: The Winter Soldier is a fucking amazing movie, and I don't think that movie has like the best action scenes at all. You know, so you can have like something that's like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and still not have like the best action or the best, cinematography. Because the thing is, when I rate something a 10, and I have a very different scoring system based like on compared to everyone else, because I base my scores off of like story, characters, themes, especially characters and themes. Everything else, like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that if everything else is bad, then it can still be like a 10 out of 10. But like, if everything else is at the very least serviceable and gets the job done, then depending on how good the rest of the film is, then I would honestly be like, you know, feel good to give it like a score like a 9 or a 10 out of 10. Because like, but then again, that's just me thinking that like a 10 out of 10 isn't even a perfect movie, because a perfect movie can't exist. You know, a lot of people view 10 out of 10 as literally perfect, but I don't, because a perfect movie cannot exist. So 10 out of 10 is just a master of its craft, not say like a perfect movie, you know?
Mm-hmm. I don't usually do like number scores anymore, because like a lot of my recommendations are two different criteria. Do I enjoy watching it? As like, is this thing enjoyable to watch or enjoyable to play? Then I look at it critically. Is it critically good? And those could be two completely different things, you know? I don't critically enjoy certain films, but I can certainly enjoy watching them. Like, I can see the problems in certain films, but they're still fun to watch. And then there's certain films that I don't enjoy watching, but I can see why they're critically like acclaimed. Yeah. And you have to keep certain things in mind when you go into that. That's my mindset. Like, okay, I enjoy Tomorrowland, but did it do good critically? There's problems, but I still love it. It's kind of the same thing that, you know, it's my specific taste.
It's kind of a similar.
I can put that aside.
It's kind of a similar thing to how I felt about Joker, because I'm not the biggest fan of Joker, is the thing. Like, I've seen what Joker's tried to do many other times and succeeded at it, like, way more than Joker did. But I can appreciate, like, you know, because I think it was pretty well made, and I think that it succeeded enough at what it was trying to do to where, if you, because the thing about a lot of, like, say, Martin Scorsese's movies, which, like, Joker was really obviously, like, taking inspiration from, you know, it's Like, the thing about, like, Martin Scorsese's movies is that a lot of people nowadays just unfortunately haven't seen them. Like, a lot of, younger people nowadays just haven't seen his movies. So Joker can act as, like, a very good gateway into those type of movies. Like, I don't agree with the people who say, like, oh my god, this is one of the best superhero movies of all time. Because, again, I've just seen everything that Joker has to offer done in much better ways in other movies. But, like, I can appreciate it for being a movie that, like, acts as a gateway to other movies like it to a lot of younger people. And, like, I can appreciate it for that. Like, from a critical perspective, I respect the movie more than I feel ambivalent towards it. So, like...
in that same vein, like, I didn't enjoy watching it, but I still think it's, like, a really well-made movie. It's just not what I go to movies to see. It's very dark, it's very depressing, and it's like there's certain like things that I'm like, this is very well shot, this is very well done, but I don't want to watch it again. And that's the thing. Critically, I can totally see what is good about it, but it's not my type of film. But the difference when it comes to Falcon, I'm like, I enjoyed watching 95% of it, and critically, I think it did a fantastic job. So it's like it's really good. There are only a couple more things I do want to bring up with Falcon.
We still haven't brought up Zemo.
Well, yeah, I was getting to that, but I wanted to talk about U.S. Agent first.
Let's finish talking about U.S. Agent. We touched on him before, and we've kind of talked about U.S. Agent, like, we've sprinkled it in throughout the podcast, but, like, let's properly, like, just give, like, an all-around, like, thoughts on him.
Well, I think that his arc was cut a little bit short, a little bit rushed at the end. I adore the arc that they went with for most of this, because they didn't introduce him as a bad person. The opening stuff, like, a lot of people were like, oh my god, he has a punchable face, but that was probably on purpose. They didn't want to make the costume feel like it fit right on him. Yeah. But they gave us a lot of insight into his character. Like, he doesn't think he's worthy enough to wear the mantle, and he's done a lot of stuff as a soldier that he's not proud of, but they were the calls that he had to make. And there's a difference between being a normal soldier and following orders and trying to get things done no matter the cost, and being Captain America. And they draw that distinction many times with the stuff that he's willing to do. Hi, Kana. Do you agree?
And Kana's just in the background like she always is.
Hi, Kana. But yeah, like, that's the whole thing, is like, he's a bit different because he's been a straight soldier, and he hates his medals because they remind him of the worst day and the worst decisions that he's ever made, and why he doesn't feel like he deserves the mantle. And so a lot of the things, like, it almost feels like he puts on a persona when he gets into the Captain America gear, because he feels he has to be a certain way in order to get things done. Oh, and definitely. I love that. I love when he's talking to his friend, Black Star, I believe his name is.
Yeah. Battlestar.
Battlestar. Sorry. Battlestar. When he's talking to Battlestar, it's like,
well, you're gonna call him Black Star just because he's black. So are you Black Kid?
Are you Black Kid? I do love that sequence, but when he's talking to Battlestar and he's saying, like, hey, if you had the chance to take the serum, would you take it? It's like, well, yeah, it only makes you more of yourself, right? And that's the thing, like, he doesn't believe he's the best person for the job, and that's part of it. And his whole arc is coming to grips that he's not good enough to become Captain America. He's not the right person for the job. He has credentials, but he's done a lot of bad things, and I like that he doesn't like that he's done those things. There's so much good character development with him. And when he kills the guy for Battlestar, I can understand why he's in that rage. I mean, part of it is he's hopped up on the drug, but on the serum, but a large part of it is just like, Battlestar was his anchor. it was like his humanity getting taken away. And like there's so many good things about that. I do still feel that they needed maybe another episode or another scene to get him to the point where he was in episode 9, was it? Where he was working with Bucky. But
I mean episode 6.
Episodes.
Was there
only 6 episodes?
Yeah. You're thinking of WandaVision, which was 9 episodes, but Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Loki were 6.
Oh, okay. So yeah, where he was in episode 6, where he was working with Bucky. And don't get me wrong, 95% of his arc was amazing. And I see where they're going with this. They have room to improve it. I don't think it's bad. I don't think even with that rush job, it impacts too much. But like, humanizing these characters, even the ones that we aren't supposed to sympathize with, was amazing. And showing how they could go down this dark path. And I don't agree with him. I'm not the type of person who I've seen comments of people saying, oh, he was just doing the right thing. No, he was not. That's not how Captain America should be. Kitty, stop trying to attack me. It's not playtime, Kana.
Come play with me, mommy.
But that's the thing, like, they present things in such a great way where you're not supposed to sympathize with him, but you understand him, and you get where he's coming from, and he's doing the wrong things, and it's very much like Carly, and it's like, this is a dark reflection, and every single different viewpoint is like a counterpoint to Sam. It's like, you could be this, you could be this. What type of Captain America will you become? And it's a great character piece. And so, yeah, US Agent stuff was a love.
Paragon or Renegade.
All right, Kana, come here. Kana, come here.
Oh. Get on Mummy's lap.
Come here. Oh, come on. Kana.
While Zen's busy with Kana, I guess I may as well say that I'm basically of the same mind with US Agent. I really like his character. I do think that like he should have gotten a little bit more before he's just suddenly working with Bucky in the final episode, because I do like that that he comes to terms that, okay, I'm not the right man to be Captain America at this point in time, and he has that understanding with Sam. But I do, I do like that. I do like that, we got that arc for him in the first place, where he wasn't just right-wing bigot John Walker from the comics, but like he was just more so just an asshole, like, who's had to do some bad things, because he's had to do some bad things to get, like, so that more people could be safe than, like, essentially like sacrificing, like, the few to save the many, which isn't very Captain America, I'll say that much. But, it does humanize John more than, say, if they had just made him, like, a bigot, for example. I'm really excited to see where they go with him. You still there, Zen?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I was wondering if you had just, like, gone off to get Kana and, like, just hadn't come back yet. No,
I had picked her up and put her in my lap for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where they go with him. The series was, unfortunately, because of the way they had to shuffle everything up, this series is the one that introduces Valentina, who also appears in Black Widow. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on what she does in that, but I'm really interested to see what she does. I'm really interested to see what they're setting up with her. They basically described her as opposite Nick Fury, which is a really good way of describing her, but seeing Walker with her now, I can't wait to see, like, how that impacts his arc in the future, if he's going to continue to, like, because by the end of the series, he's able to hold off from, like, going down a dark path. Like, I'd say he's more so gone down that dark path, but he's able to, like, just to be dragged just back into, like, into his humanity. And I can't wait to see whether he goes back on that dark path, or if he's able to, take a path that's, like, much lighter. And the fact that he's with Valentina makes me think, okay, he's gonna do some real fucky shit again, but, like, we'll see. I really am interested to see like where he goes from here, and I can't wait to see where his character develops.
I've heard from some people that Valentina's supposed to be Madam Hydra, but I don't know too much about that.
They haven't called her Madam Hydra in this because she was I think undercover in the comics as Madam Hydra at one point, but since Hydra is no more in the MCU, I think the way they're handling it is that they're just not they're just not connecting her to Hydra at all. At least not from what we've seen so far. So I think she's just a completely like different interpretation of the character. So until they say otherwise, I wouldn't say that she has any involvement with Hydra.
Okay. But yeah, I really love 95% of what they did with Walker, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. And then there's two other characters that I haven't talked about yet because I wanted to save them for last, because we have Zemo and we have the Power Broker, who I called. I was right. I was goddamn right.
And it's not so much that I like, because I will admit, part of the reason why I said no, that's not what's going to happen, is because mainly I didn't want that to happen. And spoiler alert, it is one of my only like bigger problems with the series. But we'll get to that in a second because I want to talk about how good Zemo is.
I really like what they did with Zemo here. And it's like, Zemo's another like, this could be you type of Captain America thing for Sam. Because he's completely against super serum of any kind, and he's just like, the only person it worked on was Captain America, but there's only one Steve Rogers, and like, he makes very many good points, and it's like, you see his reasoning, he feels like power corrupts, and I can totally see, I don't agree with a lot of his methods, but I can see where he's going for. But at the end, he lets Bucky live. He lets Sam continue to be the Captain America because he believes in them, because he sees that they are different. And I like that. It's just not, he's not just hating all people with power, he just doesn't like corruption.
And they didn't fucking kill him, thank you. Thank you for not just killing your villains left and right. Like, Carly, like, her death served the plot and like had a purpose. It's fine there, but like, when you have, and she honestly wouldn't work in a lot of like in a lot of like what I'm thinking they could use villains for in the future, like in recurring appearances. They can't really use Carly in that same way. Whereas like, you can certainly do that with US Agent, and you can really do that with Zemo. And Zemo's at this point is like the perfect candidate to be in like a Thunderbolts type series, you know?
I think Zemo is a great character. He's interesting. You don't always know what he's thinking. And like, you know, when he puts on his gear, you feel like, oh no, he's gonna abandon them, but he doesn't. He believes in his cause. He has his own moral code. He knows what he believes in, and he believes in it wholeheartedly. He doesn't like corruption. He doesn't want people to keep abusing it. And he makes some questionable choices, but you know why he makes them. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he's a very interesting kind of anti-hero.
Yeah, he's really... I can't wait to see more of him. One really, 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 really small nitpick is that I really would have liked to see more of him in the mask, because we see him in the mask for like 10 seconds, and then he takes it off again. So I really would have liked...
But he gets it back, so, I mean, that's something.
Yeah, he does. So I just want to see him as like, with like, because he looks so good. Like, he looks so fucking like, not like 100% comic accurate, but he looks, you know, just so good with the fucking purple sock. I want to see more of Zemo. I really want to see more of Zemo. Like, put him and Walker on a Thunderbolts team, along with, I'm not going to say their name, but, you know, but just have Valentina as like the Nick Fury setting up this Thunderbolts team and just gathering a bunch of not just villains, but also like anti-heroes and villains like just both anti-heroes and villains, and just form this Thunderbolts team, because that's generally what happens with the Thunderbolts, because not every Thunderbolt member is a villain. Like Bucky has, I believe, joined the Thunderbolts in the comics, and Luke Cage has led them at one point as like kind of like the Rick Flag kind of leader, you know? So it's...
I mean, we saw from the new Suicide Squad movie, you can make this work without it being cynical. Like, just have fun with it. Yeah. And with Zemo, I would be all for it. Can I just say, though, I am so glad they released the Zemo cut.
Yeah.
Of him dancing.
Oh, like, I love him just fucking dancing. I was like, oh my god, that's gonna be a fucking meme. Just like seeing him just fucking like thrust his arm and like just dance like that. I've always been a fan of Zemo. I liked him in Civil War. I don't get where Kat was coming from at all. But like I was just like, now I love him even more. Like I'm just like, I'm all for him. He's smart. He uses people. He uses people psychologically, and he knows how to escape a dangerous situation very easily by making people fight. He's very good at that. I loved Zemo in Civil War. I honestly felt like, even though he wasn't comic accurate at all in that movie, I really loved him because he was like one of the most effective MCU villains, and like his and for a story that's all about like the damage that the Avengers have caused, like his story was just down like fucking, what am I trying to say? It was just down to earth enough for like him to be just a great villain for that movie. And like I loved his return in this series. I think honestly he's one of the best villains in the MCU. What did Kat not like about Zemo?
Oh, she said in one of her reaction videos, she's like, oh, suddenly, from what I remember, everyone hated him in Civil War because his plan made no sense. It was so, like, coincidental and an ordinary man. And I'm just like, no, I liked him. I don't know, Kat. Kat, you're a good person, but we don't always see eye to eye on these things.
The Loki finale is good, damn it.
It is very good. I don't get but anyway,
don't worry. Look, we love you, Kat. We love you, Doug. You know, I've loved making the thumbnails for you guys. So no disrespect to you guys. You know, fair's fair on your opinions.
Everyone has their own opinions, but I don't know. I always thought
everyone has their own opinions, but my ones. Everyone has their own opinions, but my ones are the most correct. My ones are the most correct out of everyone's.
Okay there, girlfriend.
But Zemo's great.
Zemo's great. Shall we talk about the Power Broker?
Okay, so I really hope she's the Skrull. I really fucking hope that that, because it turns out, as you will know if you've seen the series, that it turns out that that Miss fucking shit. I had a brain fart.
Miss Carter?
Yes, it turns out that Miss Carter ends up being the Power Broker, and God, I really hope that she's a Skrull, because I don't like. How about you go first? Because I just need to collect my thoughts and like really articulate why I don't like her as the Power Broker. But you go ahead.
I can see either way. Here's the thing. I wouldn't mind her being a Skrull because it would explain certain things, like her, like how she is at the very end and not wanting amnesty and just wanting like secrets and stuff like that, and to continue on that. I think that would work for her being a Skrull. At the same time, I understand. Yeah, she made the decision to help out Captain America of her own volition, but at the same time, no one in these past few years has gone out and tried to find her or help her in any capacity, and she probably really feels abandoned.
Which really makes me think that she was, because like, would Steve really let that happen? Would he just let, because I know a lot of stuff happened in the past 5 years, like since Infinity War to Endgame. Like, I know a lot of stuff happened in that 5 years, but like, would Steve really not go out and look for Sharon and like and see, you know, if she was okay? So
they did say it was a very hard 5 years. And I mean, it, like, here's the thing. if she was blipped, but it doesn't feel like it, but like it was a hard 2 years, and then Thanos happened. Like he probably had the idea to go and back and help her, but evil doesn't sleep, and Cap had to keep going and trying to do other things. Cap is trying to help everyone, and sometimes things slip your mind. And also Thanos, when Thanos happened, you saw how Cap changed. It must have been very hard to even keep track of what he needed to do. Yeah. Because so much like at the very end of Infinity War, when everyone was gone, like there's just that shock. And when something like that happens, a lot of things slip from your mind. So I can believe it. I can believe that he was so preoccupied with saving the world that Sharon got left in to fend for herself. And if she wasn't blipped, then she must be super resentful because she did this for her friend and nobody has come to say hello. And then they come and ask for a favor? Fuck off with that.
Yeah, it's just the fact that she would go to like the lengths of like being the power broker, and it's like because the reason why I hope she's a Skrull is because like just going off of like who her aunt was, and I know like who your parents are, who your relatives are, doesn't like necessarily dictate who you're going to be. Like I get that. But seeing what she said about her, like, what she said about Peggy, and like how like the kind of relationship she had with her aunt, and like and everything she did in the previous movies, it kind of just seems out of nowhere to just say like, oh yeah, no, she's gone like so much off the deep end to where like now she's the power broker. She's like this big like like she has like this multi-network like like operation here where she has eyes everywhere, and like it's just like I feel like I don't know, because it was of her own volition that she went undercover to like
yeah, but if you do something of your own volition, you expect someone to come back for you. Like
yeah, I think that's like the most frustrating part for me, because like we don't know. I think the most frustrating part is just generally that we don't know. We don't know if she was blipped and Steve did try to help her and just nothing came of it. We don't know if she wasn't blipped and Steve just uncharacteristically did nothing about it. And I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying about it was a trying 5 years where like there was so much going on. There was so many places that Steve had to be, but it was also 5 years, and 5 years is just enough time to be like, okay, Steve was able to like get a pardon for like himself and Natasha and Sam was able to get pardoned when he came back. Like, so many people were able to, he was able to help out so many people in this case. Was he really not able to like help Sharon? And we don't know, because like and I generally don't know if like the writers know or not. It's like it's kind of like whether if Steve's actually alive in the present day or not. We don't know because the writers probably don't know. I really wish that this was fleshed out more, because Sharon being the power broker could work, but like they just haven't fleshed it out to the point where I think it's believable yet. And I really hope that, either she's a Skrull and this behavior would totally make sense in that case. She isn't confirmed for Secret Invasion, so we really don't know if that's the case or not. But I think her being a Skrull really would help out in this case and like would really be a good like swerve. If she's not, then I hope at the very least they expand upon it, because I can see where you're coming from on a lot of your points, Zen, and I think that they could work. The problem is we just don't know yet, and I'm always like, don't like leave your audience to like, it's not necessarily show don't tell, it's more so show or tell it. Don't just leave your audience like in the dark just guessing what happened. It's kind of like
it's clearly set up for something that's gonna happen soon. I'm not too worried about it because it's clearly not the focus of this series.
Yeah.
The reveal of her as the power broker was the point. I think they're going to explain it at a later time.
Yeah, I've just also been burnt on a lot of things, like, once again, MLP. Like, I just don't like it when you talk about a villain's like backstory and why they are the way they are, and then you don't touch on it a lot. And MLP does this because the series is over at this point. That series did this a fucking lot, where it's like, Starlight, why did you like?
This is Marvel though. It's not MLP.
I know. I'm just bringing an example of how I've been burnt on this. I know. It's like, hey, Starlight, why did you become a fucking like cult leader? Oh, because a friend of mine left and like moved away.
This isn't a show meant for children. It's a different series
entirely. I know. I'm just saying I've seen this done badly, and MLP is the first thing that came to mind because it's fucking. I spent a decade of my life obsessing over that goddamn show. I just don't think
it's an example that holds too much weight in this context, baby.
Well, also because we haven't seen enough of Sharon being the power broker, and I can agree with you that it doesn't hold too much weight if we don't see more of Sharon's past, Sharon's past, quote unquote. Basically, her over the past. God, how long would it be at this point? Like 8 years in universe? So, yeah, I'm fully putting my hands up here and saying I could be completely off the mark and completely fucking wrong about this. And I'll eat shit when Captain America 4 or whatever comes out and we see more of Sharon and she's like, and we get complete like a deep dive into her and why she is the power broker and all that stuff. Right now, I'm just not convinced. And I totally see where you're coming from with that, but...
Kana disagrees, by the way.
Of course she does. Kana... Well, no, usually it's Chiaki that would disagree with me.
Chiaki's in the other room.
Mm-hmm. But that's Sharon. And it's the one part I'm, like, iffy about. Maybe I'll come to, like, not really care as time goes on, but... Yeah, but you want to give final thoughts?
Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a fantastic series. I honestly think it's better than WandaVision, personally. WandaVision had a little bit of issues in the finale that I think definitely could have used an additional scene. This one, I don't think quite as much. I think, yeah, a little bit rushed with US Agent, but otherwise, it really hit close to home for me. So I think altogether, I like it a lot more. I think Loki is my favorite, though. Loki
I think I've grown to think the same. I think I've grown to think the same, because like I know at the end of Loki I was like, I still think I'm edging more towards Falcon and Winter Soldier, but just rewatching both shows recently with my parents, I honestly think just Loki hits me in like just it's a bias. It really is a bias for me, but like I think Loki just hits me in places like that. Just like it just touches on things that hits.
Phrasing.
Hey, shut up. It touches on things that like just hit closer to home for me personally. So, and I love WandaVision as well. I think honestly all three of these shows are like some of the best MCU properties. Agreed. Yeah,
I think
in general.
that Phase 4 so far. I think Phase 4. Kana. Those wires. Kana. Okay. I think Phase 4 so far has been brilliant. I haven't seen Black Widow. Mostly because I don't consider it Phase 4. It's Phase 3, especially timeline-wise.
I'm not gonna say anything, but no, it's Phase 4. It's Phase 4.
Whatever. Anyway, I'm waiting. I just don't wanna. I don't want to buy it on Disney Plus. I have Disney Plus for a reason, and I haven't had the chance to go out and see it because health issues. But like.
Yeah, don't worry. You'll be fine to see Shang-Chi in theaters because literally nothing that happens in Black Widow would impact Shang-Chi, you know.
But anyway, WandaVision, Loki, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier are some of the best that Marvel has ever done, and it's slowing things down, bringing things down to earth, giving us more with these characters, and allowing these characters to breathe and. It's fantastic. And if Kana would let me watch it, then it will be better. I love you, Kana. I really do.
Yeah. part of me as these months have gone on has thought okay, am I being too nice here? Like me saying like, oh, these 3 shows are like just some of the best MCU content ever. Am I just being nice because like they're new and I haven't just let them like sit in enough? But like then I saw Black Widow, and I'm not gonna say too much because I want to save my full thoughts for that video. And like I don't hate the movie. I think the movie's fine. I think it's a fine movie, but like let's just say I have a lot of problems with it, and it's definitely not only the weakest of Phase 4 so far, but honestly, and I might get some shit for saying this, but I honestly think it's one of the weaker MCU movies in general. I'll put it like this: I like Far From Home more than I do Black Widow, but I even then I like Far From Home a fair bit as well. But like, so it's not just. So all that shows me is not just the cult of the new. It's like, it's not just because these Disney Plus shows are new. It's that I genuinely really like these 3 shows. I think all 3 of these shows are just fantastic. And especially Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think, hit on a lot of things that, that really needed to be talked about. Like if they were going to make Sam Captain America, and just, I think they did it flawlessly. I honestly think that this series just hit a home run for a mini series. I think that it's terrific. I think it's paced well. Episode 3 is kind of a little slow. I have seen people say that this series has one of the worst cases of like a middle section being slow in the MCU. And I'm like, in episode 3, kinda. In episode 4, I definitely think it picks back up again. So yeah, I honestly think the series is amazing. I can't wait for the 4th Captain America movie. I think that just Anthony Mackie's gonna make for an amazing Captain America. And I like the costume. I really like the costume. I know some people are like, oh, I'm not too big on the costume. I think it's the case of like, kind of like Steve Rogers' first costume in like, or one of his first costumes in the first Avengers. And I'm like, I don't even think it's that. I think like they got Sam's outfit like really well in
it really works
series.
For him. His outfit is very comic accurate, but it fits in the real world. I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's finally our series review on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I guess I should say now Captain America and the Winter Soldier, though it's still going to be called Falcon and the Winter Soldier in the title because that's what the series was. I think they should have gone with
Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon would have worked. Falcon Punch.
Falcon Punch. I'm glad I was finally able to get you on for a podcast to talk about this series, because I know you've been dying to talk about it, Zen.
For a while.
Yeah. But in any case, 3 days from us recording this, but 2 days probably from when I'm uploading, we're finally going to get the release of What If, which I've been really excited about. I know both of us have been really excited about that series. Turns out it's going to be 9 episodes as opposed to 10, because apparently they needed to push 1 episode back to season 2 because they just didn't have enough time, which I understand. It's in that case, I don't know how exactly we're going to handle that series, because like we're going to handle it the same way we've been like handling Loki, where we do 2 episodes in 1 video. So maybe we either just do 1 episode on its own, or maybe the last one will be 3 episodes. I don't know. We'll see. But that'll be, of course, next. That'll be the next thing we do. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks for What If. And then during What If's run, when Shang-Chi comes out, hopefully the stars align and we'll be able to record a podcast of Shang-Chi. And then after that, we're going to have a lot of cleanup to do before Hawkeye comes out. Because after What If, Hawkeye is going to be the next series. And there's going to be about a month separation, like a little bit over a month separation between What If and Hawkeye. I think 5-6 weeks. So in between the, I do think it's 6 weeks. So in between that time, we're going to do the Black Widow review. We're going to do the Loki Season 1 review. I almost call it the series review, but that's not actually accurate. We're going to do the Eternals review, because that's going to come out during that time. Yeah, there's a lot to cover with the MCU. So much coming out this year, and yet Miss Marvel still got pushed back to next year.
Always more to talk about, right?
Always a lot to talk about. But in the meantime, we're going to we're gonna really buckle down on Danganronpa 1 because we're almost done with that video, guys. I'm at the stage where I can finally start editing the video, and Zen and our audio editor Nick can handle the second half of the recording. But with that being said, thank you all for joining us for this video. We'll see you next time with What If. And with that being said, I'm Philip.
I'm Zenith Warrior Princess, the cutest of buns.
And we will talk to you guys next time. We'll see you guys in about 2-ish weeks to talk about What If. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Release the Zemo cut.
Release the fucking Zemo cut.